Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's wellness webinar. I'm Bonnie Siddons, a marketing manager here at Life Farm, and I'm so excited to have you all here as we dive into a very important conversation today about brain and heart health. We all want to feel our best, but sometimes with our busy lives and being under constant stress, our bodies and minds will need extra support. So that's exactly what we're going to be discussing today. So to help us better understand how we can support brain function, memory, and heart health, we have an excellent expert with us, Dr. Samina Ahmad. She's a valued member of the Life Farm Scientific Advisory Board, and she's dedicated her career to improving healthcare and nutrition, especially for underserved communities. And she now runs Samina's Wellness in New York. So, in this session, Dr. Ahmad will be sharing some simple but powerful ways to keep your brain and heart strong as you age. Also, how the right nutrients can make a huge difference in how you think, feel, and function every day. So, get comfortable and grab a notebook because you're going to want to write some of this down. And join me in welcoming Dr. Samina Ahmad. Hello.
Hi, thank you so much, Bonnie. I welcome all of you. We have Kesia Wout from Mexico. Thank you for joining. And I see more people coming in. And today is a very important webinar for whoever wants to make their heart and brain healthy. And those are two vital organs I think that we need to make healthy. And today you will receive a lot of tips on how to do that. Plus, you'll find out about the science behind a healthy heart and a healthy mind, healthy brain. And we will, of course, give you some special offers. Bonnie, I'm excited to have you on board. You're part of the Life Farm family now, and we definitely will benefit from your marketing skills. And I'm so happy to have you on board today. Uh, so we'll start off. As everybody knows, I'm a medical doctor with holistic, experience, especially in Ayurvedic medicine. So I like to incorporate a lot of that during my talk. And I'll start off today by giving you some interesting facts about uh, heart and brain. So first we'll do the heart. Did you know that our heart beats 100,000 times per day? I mean, that's like mind boggling. And I feel, thank God, we don't have the control switch because we would definitely forget to actually, make sure that those 100,000 beats are happening. We would miss that anytime. And then when you do the math, they say that 35 million beats in a year. Wow, that's a lot of work that that heart is doing. And then if you look at the lifetime, it's about 2.5 billion beats. And that's like a phenomenon that this muscle that's in your body has to do so much work. And we sometimes don't really take good care of it. And similarly, your brain, which might be 2% of your body weight, is actually using up 20% of your energy. And it's a lot, 20%, right? So the brain, in a way, gets a lot of advantage. And it's like a parasite. If you don't feed your body, it's going to take up the food, the sugar it needs from organs which already have it. So it's like a snatcher. It's basically like a power hungry organ which wants to reign superior. And so it's always going to benefit, but it might do so at the expense of another organ, which is never good. So those are two heart and brain facts that I just shared with you, and I'll keep doing that throughout our presentation. But I also want our guests who are on the talk today on our chat to answer some questions. And I want you to write your responses, okay? I want you to be interactive during this particular webinar. What do you think influences our heart health? I want you to write a few things. What do you think is actually affecting my heart right now or any time of the day? And whatever you feel is the right answer, you can just throw it in. Don't worry about if it's right or wrong. And I'll tell you why you don't want to worry, because it doesn't matter. We're not judging you at all. Okay, so I've got one answer from, is it Kesia? You written stress. That's true. So we all know that whenever we have high stress in our lives, we will suffer. Whether it's your brain health or it's your heart health, you will. And what will happen to the brain? You see, a brain needs to really keep a balance of your happy moods and the sad moods. But when you interfere through your overthinking, what happens is the neurotransmitter balance goes wacky. It just goes out of sync. And then it's like an automatic, like a process where the brain is going crazy, and it starts accumulating so much stress that you start feeling it in the rest of your body, your heartbeat, your sweating, your muscles, your immune system, because there is definitely a connection of the brain with your immune health. And all those people who've been attending these lectures or webinars know that there is a particular term called neuro uh, neuro, which is the mind. Okay, the neuro physio immunology, or basically it's like the brain and the mind are actually in sync with the immune system. Now, when I have any thoughts which are negative, it's going to cause negativity in my whole body, affecting my immune system, causing me to get sick. If I think positive, if I'm a happy person, I'm always going to benefit my heart and my brain. And they say that if you laugh a lot, it really helps, because laughter is actually a great medicine. And people who laugh a lot, they say they stimulate the feel good hormones like dopamine. And that's a transmitter that is the mood elevator. And it also improves your focus, your memory, right? So that would be one. All right, stress. What else, everyone? I only got one response. I want more. How about exercise? Exercise is beneficial not only for your heart but also for your brain. When you exercise, the blood circulation is improving, right? So more blood is going to your brain. And when that happens, the toxicity, or all those toxic things like those amyloid plaques that people have when they have a disease called Alzheimer's, they are removed. So think of the brain as something that's flushing away all the toxins when the blood circulation improves. So exercise is going to make the brain better. Your memory will improve, your concentration, your focus, your creativity, all those things are going to be better. And you won't get neurodegenerative disorders like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, which we don't want to get. And they are projecting that in 2016, I think the cases are really going to double in the world, and it's crazy. So we need to take care of our brain health and our heart health. Exercise helps the heart also. How does that help? Well, it makes your heart stronger, your muscles, right? And you're able to improve your blood circulation better. And you are literally, your blood pressure, your heartbeat, all those things become better. So we're going to move on to our slide presentation as we keep talking about these benefits. And I want you guys, while we are going to discuss this slide, to write down which exercise do you do? Do you swim? Do you go on a treadmill in a gym? Do you walk? Do you dance? So I need some responses. I'm actually keeping you under my microscope. I'm keeping an eye on you. Are you sleeping? Are you following this talk? Okay, I'm getting some answers there. I see somebody who's doing all three. Okay, Life Farm from Hungary to everyone, but I don't see a name. I don't know who that is. I see an abbreviation LH, swim, walk, and dance. Bonnie likes to walk. Kesia likes to walk and dance. Wout likes to walk. Yes, walking is amazing. You can do it anywhere. Even if it's snowing outside, you can walk in your living room. You can do standstill walking in one place. So there's no justification for not exercising, right? And Good. I love riding a bike. That's so amazing. That's wonderful. So, we are talking about the importance of brain health in this particular slide, but I want to talk about something which is so important as we discuss brain health. Of course, why do we want our brain to work? We already talked about it. We want to age gracefully. We want to have a good mood. We want overall well being. We want our memory to be good. We don't want to lose things. We don't want to forget. So, common challenges memory is memory, right? We forget things. Number two, we have a brain fog. People who went through COVID are having the long haul brain fog. They just feel that they are not able to comprehend, understand, or focus anymore the way they used to. Anxiety is on the scene, and my brother and I, my brother's a surgeon, we always say the next pandemic would be anxiety and depression. I see it all around. So, sleep is on this slide. And I want you guys to respond to this. Do you know that our ancestors slept for 11 hours? Wow, they were like bears. They were always hibernating. That was before the industries came in and all the action began. So I guess it was that time when there wasn't much to worry about, and you had accessibility to food, and whatever was around was enough. We were just like that, simple people, simple living, high thinking kind of stuff, and less is more was okay for us. Not anymore. So now what was happening is that our the demands are more on our life. We are taking care of our spouses, we're taking care of our family, our children. You have a home, you have a job that you have to go to. The social media doesn't help. So there is too much in your life, right? And it's incapacitating you. And what happens is you never stop. You are on the run all the time, like a hamster on a wheel. So, because of that, and even your children are obviously looking at you as a role model. So, when they see you not stopping, they do the same thing and they're up all night. They're either on their little gadgets, the iPads, call it their cell phones, or the social media of some sort. And I know my even my nieces and nephews, and let me know if you can relate to this. They're doing their homework, but they've got their big headphones on because they're listening to music as they work. And on the right side of their computer screen, they're also chatting with their friends. And I mean, I just find it difficult to do that. Your brain was not supposed to do that. The brain actually was supposed to absorb something from you in the form of knowledge or fact and then process it and then come to a conclusion of what it is, to decipher, to understand. That's what your cognitive health is about, right? For anybody in this talk who wants to know what is cognition, cognitive health is how your memory is, how your problem solving skills are. How do you learn? Do you focus, or are you constantly, everywhere overthinking? So now the world is a big caboodle of overthinking, overdoing. And we are human beings. We are supposed to be, not do all the time. We can't be human doings all the time. We need rest. So sleep is so important. How much sleep do you get? Write for me, in the chat. How many hours of sleep are you doing every day? Because guess what? Think of your basically your brain as a cleanup crew. When we go to sleep, the brain gets cleaned up. There's a crew that comes in and it cleans up, washes away all the toxins that you have been accumulating since the morning. Either it's the nutrients you had, and the brain doesn't want to keep all the nutrients, it uses what it has to and throws out the rest in the blood circulation, but it has to be taken out. So you have a cleanup operation. So people are writing 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours. Okay, that's good. I don't want it to be less than that because that's not good. It's dangerous. And they've already done research that if you don't sleep well, you will get neurodegenerative diseases like I talked about, Alzheimer's, dementia, and that's on the rise. So don't do that to yourself. Without your memory, without your uh, acumen, your cognitive skills, we lose our identity. There's no point in living if you don't have your mind working. So definitely sleep is important. And okay, so again, we are on a slide which is talking about the key factors which influence your brain health. So, how about diet? Uh, Let me ask you, whoever's on this chat, that do you have a brain healthy diet plan that you kind of, stick with, whether you're eating the right kinds of foods? And since this slide has the neurotransmitter balance there, which means we want to make sure our serotonin, our dopamine, which are neurotransmitters, are in balance. These are the happy hormones, we need them. The brain cell regeneration is important. We want the cells to regenerate. Cells die. We need new cells. We need to protect the ones which are already there. Omega 3 fatty acids is a term that you keep hearing about. And today we are talking brain health and heart health. So, omega plus 3 is part of our discussion. It's a product by Life Farm that we know works, and we are going to talk in detail later on. But omega 3 fatty acids are these basically fatty acids. With why are they required? These fatty acids help us in our brain blood circulation. These help us in our immunity, in keeping ourselves fit, away or from infections. And I remember when I joined a nutrition program at the Institute of it's actually the biggest university of integrative medicine, and Dr. Andrew Weil runs it. It's in Arizona. And I went there, and Dr. Andrew Weil came up on stage and said, I know you people take a lot of supplements, but if there was one supplement that I really want you to take every day, it would be the omega 3 fatty acids. And especially the three, 6, 9, not too much. It's the three. So I remember I heard that, and then I did a little research, and I found out that that is true. We need that. And by the way, you don't have to wait till you're 60. The cognitive decline, which means your learning, the way you will learn, your memory, your problem solving skills are going to start deteriorating or declining at the age of 30, it says over here, and that is a fact. So, blood circulation is so important. And we talked about it earlier. Brain needs it, your heart needs it, and this circulation is there. Why? Because all this blood is going to each and every organ system, taking away all the carbon dioxide, all these different nutrients we don't need in the form of like toxins, and carbon dioxide and everything else. Everything is coming out that we don't need. And that same blood is giving oxygen, giving nutrients to your body as it moves. It's a very intelligent system, right? And why is it doing it? It's also doing it to maintain a perfect pH, and also to keep the temperature in the body at a very balanced level, in a way, keeping the homeostasis going. And now, why would the blood flow all of a sudden slow down in our lives, right? If you have red blood cells, you've got all these organ systems, why should you be in a position where all of a sudden your blood flow is not the way it was? Well, look at this diagram here. Can you see that this blood vessel, which was perfectly okay now, is narrowing? And you see this buildup of plaque, which is narrowing it. And that's cholesterol. High cholesterol is going to build up in these blood vessels, and it's going to restrict your blood flow. And what will happen is the blood pressure will increase. Blood pressure increase leads to cardiac issues, because all of a sudden now there's too much load on the heart. The heart cannot take that pressure, and it can cause hypertension. It can cause cardiac diseases. It can cause more impact on the valve and heart attacks. So, this is the problem here, right? And what else will happen? This is the same heart with these blood vessels and all, which is going to pump the blood to the brain also. Do you imagine like that? Like, what if it happened to the blood vessels in the brain as well? Or the blood that was supposed to go to the brain now is not going in the amount that is required. So now there's less oxygenation in the body, right? So if you take a pulse oximeter, you'll find out that your oxygen levels or oxygen saturation has gone down. Instead of being 99%, 98%, it's really going down. And that happened during COVID, because our lungs were affected and our oxygen was not the same way that it was. And the oxygenation of the body deteriorated, and that caused a lot of problems. It can also lead to mental fog, it can cause memory issues. Low oxygen levels will decline your cognitive health, and your brain will also suffer. So basically, this connection of the heart to the brain is what we keep thinking and talking about, that they are connected. And we'll talk more about that, of what is heart brain coherence. It's as if they are talking to each other. And now laminine and omega 3 plus are going to be a point of discussion for today's webinar, and I'm going to tell you why that's happening. Now think about why laminine would be really excellent for the brain health. You have been taking laminine. How many people take laminine, the ones on this chat? I want to know how many people who are attending right now are taking Life Farm's supplement laminine. Let me see some some kind of responses. Wout is taking it, and we have about 25 participants. So let me see. Robin, you are taking it. Judith, yes, good. So, for me, it's the go-to pill, because if I feel, anytime I feel, and I can make out intuitively that I'm not feeling well today or I'm about to fall ill, so I'll just pop about four of them, literally, because I know the benefit of taking four immediately is a lot better than taking two. And we are going to see a graph and a study which will prove that. And I just take it more like a loading dose. And I usually, get out of an ailment because of that. So now remember, what does laminine have? Think about that. That's the most important thing. Whenever we have to find out why something is beneficial to us, we need to know the content. What are the ingredients of laminine? Okay, you have the uh, egg bioactive growth factor, right? You know that. The fibrogen growth factor 2, FGF2. You have the marine proteins, you have the plant proteins, you have the amino acids, which are the building blocks for all the proteins. So one of the amino acids is L-tryptophan, and L-tryptophan is a precursor for serotonin, which means it is required for the synthesis of this neurotransmitter called serotonin, which is the happy hormone, right? So when in the synthesis now, if you have or take laminine, you will produce this particular neurotransmitter, which is beneficial for our brain, right? Now, when that happens, your cognition improves. Your, because serotonin helps in that, your learning improves, your memory, your problem-solving skills. So that's how laminine is helping here, giving you mental focus, giving you clarity. What else does it do? It's an adaptogen. Laminine is an adaptogen. That word adaptogen comes from the word adapt, which means it's going to adapt to stress. If your cortisol is high, it's going to try to lower that cortisol. And with the cortisol lowering, your stress levels will become less. And obviously, it will help you from, combating or dealing with anxiety or stress. So there is a protective element. Now, the FGF2, which is the bioactive growth factor, will regenerate cells, because brain cells are, they die. And so you want to make new brain cells. And so this is the learning new things, learning new skills. Now, the word neuroplasticity, that is a trait of the brain. Neuroplasticity from the word means something like plastic, bendable, malleable, able to change. So when I try to learn a new skill, like learn a new language, learn a new musical instrument, new neuronal connections are going to be made by my brain. So the brain is intelligent. It starts changing its connectivity. If it was following a path like that, it can easily decide now that I'm going to make new connections, and new connections are good for you because they improve your cognition, they improve your memory, and this is known as neuroplasticity. Okay, so moving into new areas. And another thing, of course, laminine is stimulating the nerve firing, and is basically causing this whole brand new aspect called neuroplasticity in your body. And we always say use it or lose it. So you have to use your brain, okay? You cannot retire, okay? I tell people all the time, don't retire. If you're thinking of retiring, please think again. When you retire, your body retires, your brain retires, everything, and then you're just sitting in a chair or your comfortable sofa with the remote control in your hand, and you're a couch potato because that's all you're going to do. You have stopped thinking, you've stopped using your brain, so the brain starts becoming like a rust like object and does not make these neuro connections, the neuronal neuroplasticity, the mechanism that God gave you, it just stops, and you lose your memory, and ultimately it's Alzheimer's or dementia. So, and even for your circulatory system, sitting in one place, not moving too much, sedentary lifestyle leads to blood pressure, hypertension, and it also makes you depressed. So, definitely, movement and using your brain power is important. Okay, this is an amazing graph, and I want you to look at it. I'll explain it to you so it seems really simple. So, this is a laminine study that was done, and this study actually is telling us about laminine's effect on cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. So if you look at the XY axis, the X axis is the straight line here, which is kind of, straight, like parallel. And there's a perpendicular right chord that is called the Y axis, where you see cortisol levels. So the levels are from 0 to 20 nanomoles. And then on this X axis, which is right there at 90 degrees to it, it is the number of days. So the days are from day 0, which is not the test day, to day 15. We are going to look at all these days. Now, what we did is we took 28 participants in this study, ages 36 to 83, and we gave them laminine. But if you notice, the first from day 1 to let's say day 5, we told them to take laminine 4 times in that day, and we said take 2 every time. So literally they are taking 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. And then after 5 days they started taking laminine 2 times a day, and the dose was 2 every time, so 2 plus 2. Then from day 10 to day 15, it further got reduced to just 1 laminine, and that was 2 tablets or 2 capsules of laminine in a day. So I want you to see the effect. When we told them to take 4 times laminine and every time take 2, look at the way the cortisol level quickly drops in the first 5 days. There's a sudden drop because of that high dose. And then when we did reduce it, it became kind of, you know, uh, more like a plateau. But later on, we did notice that the level of cortisol still kept reducing till the 15th day, which means that the effect of this particular supplement did not stop. It didn't reach a plateau after that, because if you see, it was there, steady, and then further down a little more. And you see from 20 nanomoles all the way to literally, you know, halfway between 10 and 20, and then staying there as a plateau and then further down. So look at the findings. Average reduction of 23.7% in cortisol levels after 12 days of supplementation. Impact is that you reduced your cortisol, and you are actually supporting your cognitive well-being and also your emotional well-being by doing that. Now, this is another important slide about telomere activity. If you remember, when we studied laminine as a supplement, we said that laminine actually increases the enzyme telomerase, which is an enzyme that actually repairs the telomere. And what is a telomere? If you remember, we talked about chromosomes, DNA, and all that. So basically, the telomere is the end of that, the DNA. It's the end. It's like the laces of a shoe. They tie up the laces of the shoe. It's the end, right, of that particular chromosome. And the DNA has telomeres. These telomeres also signify that you will, how long or short they are, is going to actually tell you how long you will live, what will be your longevity, what will be the lifespan. So, if you have long telomeres, you have a long, healthy life. If you have short telomeres, it is a short life. And can we lengthen this? The length of the telomere? Yes, we can. So this is that activity that you'll see over here, this graph that you see again, there's an X and Y. So on the X is the number of days of treatment. Let's say we are looking at it as 1,000 days of treatment. And then we're looking at the enzyme activity from literally -5 to all the way to 35. So look at this particular graph here. Now, the initial days of treatment, literally to almost 10 days of treatment, we don't really see anything happening there. But from the 10th day to the 100th day, you see a little rise in the graph, which means that telomerase, the enzyme, took a little time to get activated, but then it did get activated. And from 100 day onwards to the 1,000 days, you see a steady increase in the telomerase activity. And it's also trying to show me that try to take the supplement for a longer time period. And if you take it for a shorter time period, it does not have the same effect. So here, the goal is to take it for a longer time period. And the telomere health is so important because the length they've said is also important for our cognition and our learning. What are the benefits, right, of basically using our, of potential, the impact of using a supplement to your cognition or, the cognitive aspects. So look at the support it's giving. Okay, I told you what cognition is. Cognitive health is when my memory is good. I can remember things. I can focus. I can recall. I can learn a skill. I can, in a way, my neurotransmitters or my brain health, the connections are all good. I'm able to enjoy good emotional health, mental clarity. And I'm also dealing a lot better with stress this way because you know that if that laminine helps with reducing the cortisol, and that directly helps you in your cognitive health. So these are all the benefits. Okay, and now the light or the focus will move from laminine to omega plus 3. And omega plus 3 is when we used to teach our IBOs about all the products that Life Farm makes, we would give the analogy of a house. And uh, in the house, omega plus 3 were the windows, the circulation. You always have windows in a house for the air to circulate. If you don't do that, there is stagnancy and it stagnates. And what happens when the air cannot go out or come in? It gets stuffy and then you can't breathe properly, right? You feel so overwhelmed. So that is what happens. Now, what are the ingredients of omega? Just like we looked at the ingredients of laminine, let's look at the ingredients of omega. So over here you have omega 3, 6, and 9 fatty acids. You have coenzyme Q10 for enhanced brain function, vitamin K2, and of course the egg bioactive growth factor. So we will look at the health benefits of omega to the heart and also to the brain. And let's look at that. Again, we are repeating a lot of stuff because you know what? I also understand that repetition improves our learning, improves our memory of whatever you are repeating. So you will be able to, understand and recall and remember. Now, remember, if when you have listened to this webinar and if you get definitely have to have a copy of the webinar, keep listening to it again and again, and then you will literally have that knowledge in your mind and it'll just stick there by repeating and repetition. So the memory, of course, goes down as we age, and we do feel like the retention is not the same. But I really feel that it's still something that I don't really feel you can't change by your lifestyle, by the way you, include certain supplements, what we are teaching you. You can definitely slow down aging with the fact that I just told you the telomerase activity, you increase that activity, your aging slows down. That also means aging of the brain and your cognition. So it supports cognitive function, memory, enhances neural communication, mood regulation, provides antioxidant protection to brain cells. Now, the heart health benefits of omega plus 3, it reduces the risk of sudden cardiac death from arrhythmias, reduces or decreases the mortality in coronary artery disease patients. It is good in managing hyperlipidemia and hypertension. Of course, if it's going to reduce cholesterol and it's going to keep it down, it will definitely help. And we will look at how it decreases the cholesterol, how it helps the plaques also, in the blood vessels, because it's really meaningful with the blood circulation. Omega 3s and cognitive function. Again, there's a journal of Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience. It's showing that learning, memory, and cognitive performance increase when you take omega 3s. It's well tolerated and it's also got a low risk. Again, omega 3s and neuronal health. We already said it has the omega 3 fatty acids, which are going to help in the maintaining the neuronal membrane. Most of your gray matter, it's fat, it's all fat. It's a major structural, the brain has a lot of fat in it, and it's all made up of the omega 3 fatty acids. So, one component of that is DHA, which is an omega 3 fatty acid. And we all need that because for overall brain heart coherence and brain health, we need it for sure. You have a lot of gray matter, look at all that, so it needs that. Anti inflammatory benefits, you know that every disease starts from inflammation, every disease, acute or chronic. So if you reduce the inflammation in your body, you will definitely reduce the occurrence of a disease, right? And inflammation causes mental fog, it causes cognitive decline. And uh, omega 3 fatty acids are going to reduce inflammation for sure. They are able to produce these anti inflammatory markers in the body, which will help you in reducing any disease and making sure that disease does not move from acute to chronic also. Can I just take any fish oil supplement? And I know people, they ask me that because many people are taking them. And, I want to always tell them that you need to find out what your supplement's source is. Where is this supplement coming from? What are the ingredients clean? What is the origin of these ingredients? If we are talking fish oil, where is this fish? What kind of fish, right? So many people, also according to research, we found out that they are taking polyunsaturated fatty acids, which we should take. We're not supposed to take saturated fatty acids that cause all the buildup and all the bad effects, dangerous effects to the heart and brain. So our intake should be about 100 milligrams per day, and people don't take that, and neither through the supplement or the diet. So we need to make sure that we take the right amount. And here we see that laminine and omega together, when you use them for 8 weeks and you took about two omegas and two laminines, what did you see? So if you notice that the triglycerides in this slide, right, there is a placebo group, right? There is a placebo group, there is a group BB, and there's a group CB. So if you notice that the triglycerides after taking both the laminine and omega supplements were literally reduced, and they came down to 16.7%, which is huge. And why don't you need the triglycerides? Triglycerides are never good. Triglycerides are the bad fat. These are the ones which are the saturated fats, right? And we want to eliminate them from the body. But what happens is we just can't stop our eating habits. We want the cake, we want the desserts, we want to eat oily foods. We like that big steak which is cooked in bad oil, and you like the fast food, you're having the pizza with all that extra cheese and the burger. So all that, the triglycerides come into picture, and they build up in your body, and they make that plaque become bigger and bigger, and they cause major chaos in the body. And let's see what our products have. So when you look at the omega plus 3s, The fish source is anchovies and sardines, which are always supposed to be the best source of omega 3 nines and of the polyunsaturated fatty acids, right? So they have the most, let's call it the most important or a thing is the source, right? So they have the source is there and also the quality is there. You need the EPA, DHA content. Those are the fatty acids we need, right? We need these acids to have good brain health, good heart health, and also for our immune system. So the EPA content, if you notice, is literally double of what the other supplements are providing you. And the DHA content is also 12%. So, I mean, comparatively, I would say EPA is definitely double and higher. So, these particular fish oils are free of any contaminants and heavy metals. You know that these days we have to be so mindful that we get the fish from the right source, because there's so much of mercury poisoning that we can actually introduce to our bodies. So this particular fish oil, which is an omega 3 plus, has DPA, DHA, EPA, and it has high nitric oxide activity, which is required for these are the good fats. Borage oil again is an important thing, and that's also there. And all I can tell you is that the most important thing is that the fish that was used in your supplement is wild caught and is not farm raised. So you must remember, when you go and do your grocery shopping, you're going to look for not the farm raised. It's probably going to be cheaper in price, but you want to do the wild caught, because that particular fish has the most favorable fatty acid distribution of the DPA, DHA, and EPA. So this particular slide has all the stuff that I wanted to tell you, which might have been said already, but I'm just going to repeat it. Like we mentioned, that for our brain to remember things, we need to repeat it, right? So today we are actually following that in the form of an action, right? We are actually acting on it and trying to keep saying the same thing and see how much we remember. All right. So most of the good, knowledge that I want you to remember is already in capitals. So let's just look at the capitals and not read anything else. DHA, DPA, EPA. Okay, that goes in the brain. FGF2. Yes, I remember that one. That's the growth factor. Vitamin K2. I know that's part of the omega 3 plus supplement. Okay, and then okay, the some study. Okay, I'm not looking at that right now. Coenzyme Q10. Of course, that's important. So now with all that, that's already gone in my brain, those capital stuff. Right now, I'm just going to say, hey, I know that DHA, DPA, EPA is good for my cognition, good for my memory, and this particular supplement is really has high value of that in it, so it's good for my brain. Number two, the egg bioactive growth factor, FGF2, it's going to cause regeneration of my cells. We already know that when the lab studies are done, 60% more healthy cells literally showed in the lab studies that they proliferated. If you remember that particular skin test that was done, and I think we've talked about it many times. And it's like a scratch test, and how in a petri dish you were growing skin cells, and you put laminine, and then they grew more. And so that's there, the growth factor was able to grow that. So my brain needs new cells, my body needs it. So heart, brain, bone, everything needs new cells. Vitamin K2, if you remember, that's in the omega 3 plus. Now, K2 is a vitamin we normally don't even have in supplements, right? But it's in it, and I'll tell you the importance of it. K2 is a vitamin that the role is that what it's going to do is, first of all, it's going to provide osteocalcin, right, which is required by the brain, and it actually provides that. And osteocalcin is important for cognitive health. So basically, diet which has enough K2 will activate osteocalcin, right? Now, osteocalcin is what we definitely need our brain to actually have, because without it, we have trouble. And another thing that vitamin K2 does is it's going to actually go to the plaque, where the plaque is in the blood vessels, right? And it's going to take out the calcium from that, and it takes it and deposits this calcium into the bones where it's needed, and in a way taking the bad stuff from that arterial plaque to the bone, which is so important. Otherwise, that calcium can keep getting deposited in the blood vessel and then cause a heart attack because of that. So, vitamin K2 has a very important role in that. Coenzyme Q10, it is needed. Why? Because it is the food for all your mitochondria, which is the energy house of your body. All the mitochondria, which are part of every cell of our body, needs coenzyme Q10. Why? Because it is going to produce nerve and brain cells, and it's going to produce the energy there. It gives it the energy, right? It's basically that's where the energy comes for all the cells. Because if your mitochondria cannot really operate without coenzyme Q10, and mitochondria, like I mentioned, is the powerhouse. So if I don't have any energy in my cell, what good is that cell, right? It's not going to be beneficial to my brain or my heart. Now, omega 3 plus also contains coenzyme Q10, which is more bioavailable. Now, this coenzyme Q10, okay, also protects your brain from oxidative stress. We already talked about it. It energizes your cell's mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of nerve and brain cells. It's going to fire signal to support memory, and it has a good taste. It says sometimes, the taste of these fish oils is terrible. So this has a good taste, which is good, a good shelf life, FGF2, and other biofactors. And the synergistic effects, okay, when you use the two together, we already talked about it, it's supporting your heart, your brain, and it's improving all the things we talked about, but it's also doing three things. Blood flow is improving, so, right kind of nutrients are going to your brain and nerve tissue. It's giving protection. So, all three things are really going there. And I do want to mention something very important here, that, the diet, what kind of food? Like, okay, fine, take the supplements, but also think about the diet. So, I want you to understand there is a diet called the MIND diet, MIND. And MIND diet is a combination of the DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet, mainly telling you eat a lot of leafy green vegetables and try to conform to a vegetarian diet. It's also trying to tell you that you can have fish, and it wants you to have fruits as well. Olive oil should be your oil of choice. Take supplements which have omega 3s. So, having a good diet also would mean eating seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, and you also have the sunflower seeds, and having walnuts, all kinds of good nuts, which have good fatty acids in them. So, good omega 3s. That's the diet that you need to actually introduce to yourself. Okay, so here we see, the recommended dosage by the company is that take 1 to 4 capsules of laminine in a day and take two omegas a day. And usually I recommend taking these supplements with a meal because it's better for absorption, right? And I talked about the balanced diet, which is the mind diet also, and the lifestyle. I always tell you, stress-free lifestyle is so important. And the good thing is also that these supplements are great for all age groups, right? Exercising, we talked about. Sleep is important. Laughing a lot. And what else? I don't want to forget anything. Oh yeah, the most important thing I want to talk about is also love. Love is good for your heart. How many people have love in their lives? I want you to write in the webinar chat. How many people? It could be love from a pet, it could be love from grandparents, from your spouse, from your children. And I want 27 responses now. We have 27 participants. That's like a big number. Come on. Tell me, how many have love in their life? Because that, my friends, is the most important ingredient that you need. We talked about supplements, we talked about lifestyle, we talked about so much stuff, right? But I can't really, literally, like, I just can't tell you how important that particular thing is. And I see somebody just sent me a heart. I'll take it. Thank you. So let me see love. Come on, give me some hearts. Send me some love, guys. Send me some love. Because according to research, if you have strong emotional relationships, you will always be heart healthy, you will be brain healthy, because it's going to lower your blood pressure, it will lower your stress, it will just make your life so much easier and better. So definitely have friendships, have love in your life, and how many people dance, I think dancing is so much fun too. uh, Sharing your experiences with loved ones is the most important thing. Sharing your food with loved ones, sharing some activity every day with your loved ones is must become a part of your daily routine for sure. Have, I think, some testimonials, success stories, and you have somebody who took omega plus 3 and they checked their cardiovascular health, and she said my vascular health changed from a 64-year-old to a 48-year-old. Wow, that's amazing. Good for you, Galena. And then I see somebody who took omega plus 3, their circulation and blood pressure became better. And that was me. And Lacey M, you took omega and you noticed improvement, but when you took omega and laminine, then you were more focused and energized. And then I have another testimonial, and this is from some patient that Dr. Thomas has, and a 50-year-old woman, and she was unable to move her legs. And they said there was some kind of a spinal cord damage from a viral infection that she got, right? And so she started taking this antiviral therapy along with laminine omega plus 3 for 3 months. She became more mobile. Then the condition recurred after 6 months, and then she recovered quickly, because the buildup of those supplements, like we talked about, it stays in the body, right? So then she got convinced and she started taking it daily, and she's walking now. Yay! Good for you, lady. And Mrs. A, good for you, we're sending you love. Okay, Lacey, well, we did that. And Damien R, my circulation improved, I sleep more peacefully and have more stamina. Those are all the things we talked about. So, thank you for your love. I got a lot of hearts. I appreciate that. Thank you for attending the webinar as well. And I really enjoyed this whole session because I always benefit from it too. And I benefit from seeing all of you and, feeling that energy that you give me. And I think it's so crucial for all of us to really, get together and to share our experiences. And I want you to be more interactive on these chats. But I'm going to say goodbye to you with this beautiful energy, healing, love. And I'm going to pass you to our new marketing manager here, Bonnie. You can take it away. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samina. That was such a great example for us to learn today. I'm feeling inspired. I hope you all are too. And I wanted to thank you all for your participation today, and I hope you learned a lot as I did.
Thank you, everyone. And before we close, I always like to say stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed. Thank you so much.